Hi, Larry Kruger here with another session of Pump the Brakes. I just wrote a little article kind of in regards to this book I just read called The Big Con. And the book goes into to talking about all the big consulting firms, the big management consulting firms, the big accounting firms, and how they're set up and how they infiltrate all aspects of business, charities, government, and really interesting on how they've been caught up in a bunch of kind of nefarious situations and how they're structured. They're managed to avoid any kind of real penalties, of course, except for Arthur Andersen that was shuttered. But an interesting book on the consulting world in general. And I wrote a little article called The Uncomfortable Truth about outsourcing relocation. You can see it on my LinkedIn site. And I just want to kind of capitalize what it goes on to saying. Firstly, it says that basically everybody outsources for financial reasons, obviously. Free services are appealing. They don't have the in-house skills to manage the program themselves. And what happens when you outsource is that you lose the ability to learn by actual doing, by actually managing the process. And in the relocation space, I've been kind of harping about it for years now. When you have the control of that space, you have control of the narrative. And a lot of corporations just, fully trust in the consulting firms and the outsourcing, and they lose their ability to kind of have a good feel as to what they're actually paying for. Now, free is not free. If you have thousands of employees and hundreds of offices around the world, you have to be charging something. But it's appealing. What you lose, again, is your ability to actually understand what you're paying for. And you're subject to, as mentioned, their narrative, their picture. Everything is painted by the RMC. And no one takes the time to talk to suppliers or speak to other members of, the mobility supply chain, and just fully rely on relocation management companies. Now, there's an old saying in Texas, trust in God, but tie your horse. It's incredible sometimes just to see this blind trust that corporations have in these big management companies. And take a read of the book, and it'll kind of enlighten you in some of the things you should look for. One of the things they say in the book is that in order to gain some sort of control over your outsourced business is to do what they refer to as sandboxing, to bring some of the services in-house, allow certain members of the team to play around with it, experiment with it, see if there's a better way of doing it, a more economical way. And many organizations are doing that with the move piece. The household move piece is the most complicated and unregulated piece in the puzzle. And people are bringing it in-house, getting educated by the supplier and finding out where their money's going. I have about 4 or 5 quick screw tightening methods, if you will, that can really tighten up your policy. Have a look at the services we offer and pump the brakes a little and stand back and say, are you, do you know what you're paying for, or are you just subject to the orbit of the RMC? Pump the brakes, have a read of the article, take a look at the link above me. Adios, goodbye.